And clearly, there's a lot to unpack in the testimony that we heard today. But there was also something significant that happened before testimony even started. The judge today heard arguments as to whether Mauries Hall, he was the man in the passenger seat that George Floyd was in when police first approached him, whether Mauries Hall should have to testify in this case. And he made clear this morning through his attorney that he does not want to take the stand in this case. Kenneth, the judge seemed to want to split the baby a little bit here with the decision that he reached today in order for them to hopefully reach a decision in the next few days.
Right, and we will find out later this week if the judge will compel Mauries Hall to testify. But it did appear in court this morning before the jurors walked into that room that the judge was going to side with the public defender and Mauries Hall and saying that just about any portion of his testimony would be self-incriminating. He went down the list there and asked, the prosecution, he asked the defense, he asked the public defender exactly, what part of the testimony would jurors likely hear or would they want them to hear. From the public defender, none, because she felt that her client would be exposed. And for the defense, even though Mauries Hall is listed as both a witness for the prosecution and the defense, it appears, Diane, that the defense wants Mauries Hall more because, as they mentioned in opening statements, Mauries Hall is the passenger in that SUV with George Floyd, and he can testify that he saw George Floyd take a couple of pills before officers walked up to the SUV, that George Floyd fell asleep before officers walked up to that SUV, and so he's a very critical character who can also talk about the alleged passing of that counterfeit bill and cup foods just before the deadly incident. And so at this point, Mauries Hall, we don't know if he will testify. Again, he appeared by video conference in court this morning because he's being held on an unrelated case at a local detention facility.
And so I want to go to Robert DiCello on this. Robert, how important do you think it could be to either have this testimony on record or have Mauries Hall not testify at all?
Well, I wish I could see the jurors' faces right now to answer that question. I can't get the feel that the trial counsel are getting on that issue. And there's a lot that goes into a trial. There's certainly a lot of feeling out what the jurors need or what one thinks that the holes in their case are. But let's be honest and let's be frank here on this, conversation we're having. He was selling drugs, and he was selling drugs probably to George Floyd. So he's never going to testify. If he does, he's going to say, I take the fifth. And what that will do probably is create the appearance that George Floyd was engaging in criminality. Well, I think if we look at the evidence to date and the record to date, dating back 7 days ago, we're going to see George Floyd wobbling in his shoes. There he is, wobbling away as he's waiting to get in the grocery store. We're going to see George Floyd talking and crying out he can't breathe thereafter. And we've heard the causation issues. Did this act by the officer cause the death, or did the drugs cause the death? I mean, bringing the source of the drugs into the trial may help, but frankly, I think it's a zero-sum game for both.
The judge so far has said that he definitely won't be allowing questions about the sale of the drugs or anything like that. But what he may allow is for Mauries Hall to be questioned about George Floyd's demeanor and his state inside the car. We're going to wait and see what comes back on that. The defense has until Thursday to present their draft of the exact questions so they can then analyze and go from there. Robert DiCello, Kenneth Moton, Terry Austin, thank you all. Great conversation as always.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.